We're here. We're live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Game On. This is your Sports Morning Espresso Shot. I'm your host, Will, from Game On. Here to bring you the latest and greatest going on in the sports world. Oh, man, thank you. Thank you. I know. Here, let me get through the introduction. Let me get through the intro. Please hold your applause. Hold your applause. This is the most professional, on-time, non-clickbait sports show on the internet. How you guys doing this morning? What do we got? What do we got today? We got to talk a little preseason football. We got to talk baseball, of course. How do I sound? I want to know how I sound right now. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm trying something new because my microphone, to me, when I listen back, has been sounding weird. It also could be something from StreamYard. StreamYard's not the best with volume, but it sounds funky. So I tried something different. We're gonna text try this out. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how I sound there. It sounds like something sounds off. I don't know what it is. Let's see what we do this. I think I actually know what it is. I don't know. What do we do that? What do we do that? Very professional show here. We're trying stuff out live. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play around with it. Does it sound better like this? Let's see. Actually, kind of does. We're going back to this way. I think I know what's going on. I'm gonna try something else out later. Thank you for entertaining that with me. I sound like Will to you. Okay, well that's good. I don't know. There's just it's not that my voice so much. It's something in the back. Like I don't know how to describe it. I'm terrible with this kind of stuff. Like there's some robot-y type thing. I don't know. It doesn't sound clear and crisp to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Probably am. Need some more coffee this morning. That's what it is. Anyways, we got some baseball to talk about. I broke even. I somehow on Kalshi broke even. Got bit on Kalshi actually with the Lions Falcons game ending early. That's the one time where if I was betting a sports book, I would have got refunded at least, but not on. I don't think I did on Kalshi. Let me see. Nope, I didn't. That sucks. Oh well. Oh well. Here we are. You guys aren't getting it on your end? Okay. Well, okay. Maybe it's just me. I was listening back to the show the last couple days, and I'm like, like especially when I do clips and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just got too beautiful of a voice, you know? Too beautiful of a voice. Microphone just can't handle it. My ears just. Oh, you can get exactly 8 wins on Kalshi for the Kansas City Chiefs at 7 cents. I might dive into that. Oh, the New England Patriots. They looked good last night. We can get them over 8.5 wins at 51 cents. How about that? Let's say hello to everyone. And Grass Guy says, why did it end early? Apparently, some guy got injured. I didn't see that. That was actually the one game I wasn't watching. I was watching the other two. Some guy got injured and had to be taken off on a stretcher and stuff like that. And it was pretty bad, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But Coach Dan Campbell came out and said that he's got some movement and whatnot as of last night when he was at the hospital. So that's good. But anyways, good morning, Grass Guy. Good morning, Sporting. Rough day in MLB yesterday. Oh my God. Every single bet I wanted to take, I didn't do it because I'm a pussy. But like Heavy Steps gave me the Reds, so we lost on that one. I was gonna hedge it in the bottom of the 8th and take the Pirates, who were down 2-1. and I was literally about to pull the trigger, and then this is where I get the number I wanted. I couldn't get. I can't remember what it was, but I think I wanted 22 cents, or no, I wanted 21 cents. And as it was at 21, it jumped up to like 24 or 23, and I'm like, that's bullshit. And there had been nothing. There was like one out, no one on, and I'm like, this is BS. I'm not doing it. Damn it. And then I wanted to take the Astros yesterday, and I didn't. So I was mad at myself for that one. And then the one I did take was the Pirates, or not the Pirates, the Rangers to come back. They stink. But, here we are. It's okay. New day. New day. Good morning, Jamie. Sporting Day wound up 2 units. Sporting, you've been on a roll lately. You lost 15 on baseball? Damn, that is a rough day. But up 19 in the WNBA. You can afford a green dildo now. How about that? How about that? We don't got any more green dildo talk today, so don't worry. I'm all out of green dildo talk. Sounds good. Sounds good. Polymarket haven't found a way to do pushes so far. I know, right? Like, there's no clause in there that this game has to go for 55 minutes or something like that, which I'm okay with. Yeah, they ended the game. Well, it was preseason. Apparently, it took a long time because I was wondering. I'm like, I was keeping an eye on it because Atlanta was driving and it was like 3rd and 2 on Detroit's 49, and then I checked back like 15 minutes later, and it still was 3rd and 2 on Detroit's 49. I go, what the hell is going on? The next thing I know, the game's over, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, hopefully they find a way to implement that, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go through some sports news. Let's see if there's anything on ESPN. Lions North stable after injury, ends game early, so that's good. There's no one happier this morning than Mel Kiper, who told everyone that Sanders here was a first round pick. Shadir. Everyone's all. It's so funny. People pound on their chest about Shadir because he threw 2 touchdown passes yesterday. It's like it's one, it's the Panthers. 2, it's a preseason game against 2nd and 3rd stringers and 4th stringers. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? We got to talk about the Tom Brady statue. Oh, the best looking statue ever. It's simply, some say it's the greatest statue, the greatest of all time of statues. Panthers Leggett and Browns Jenkins got tossed for fighting in a preseason game. That's funny. Yeah, okay, that's all that they got for news. Let's go to the Twitter timeline. How about that? He didn't play against the starting defense. I know. And you said we love Brady. Yes, we do. We do love Brady here. We do love Tom Brady. Dude, this guy is gonna be special. Now I know it's preseason and whatnot, but this is still impressive. Trey Henderson, our first round, or not first round, our second round pick out of Ohio State, running back. One of the 2 running backs got picked. Look at this dude. This boy can scoot. Look at that. First of all, this is a good sign. One thing you can take away. You saw it with the Ravens, and we saw it with the Patriots, and this is typical of Mike Vrabel's teams. Discipline on special teams. It's key to a team that's going to be, even if they're not a good team, they'll be a whole lot better because they are disciplined on special teams. And we saw that with the Ravens and the Patriots yesterday. Special teams was huge. But look at this guy. This boy can scoot. Get it. That was the first play of the game. Now, I was happy because the Patriots looked good there, but I was also upset because I had Washington money line on Kalshi because they took all the dogs yesterday. Like I said, ended up selling out and breaking even. Check this out. These umps are not making a good case of why they should keep their jobs. This one's not as egregious as that other one. Obviously, that was right down the middle. But this is going to be the future Cy Young winner here, Tariq Skubal. Check this out.
piled up, and you can't help but wonder about that workload.
98 miles an hour right there. That's right at the catcher, right below the catcher's eye. That's on his nose. That's on the catcher's nose. He says no. Says, nah, we're good.
Early. 98.
Are you kidding me?
No, what? Whoa.
You see that? He says, that's fucking horrible. That's what I'd say too.
Oh, wait. I already wrote down piled up, and you can't.
Get the robots in there. Get them in there. Oh, baby. Look at that. Thing's massive, by the way. Right at the entrance, too. Right at the entrance of going into Gillette Stadium. Goat. Look at him. Beautiful. Oh, he still got it. He still looks like he can go out there and play right now. Look at that. Look at that. Tom Brady statue. I think it's pretty cool that they have. So on all 6 sides, they have. Let's see if I find a better picture of it. But they have the Super Bowl that he won, scores, ones that he got MVP in as well, and whatnot. I think it's pretty cool. You gotta give him his moment, Grass guy. He earned that one. He earned it. So I didn't realize this yesterday, as someone over in the YouTube side of things was saying. By the way, I forgot to say good morning to the people over there. Hold on. Good morning. So the plan is to take Joe Alt, who's been playing right tackle, and switch him over to left tackle after Rashawn Slater's devastating injury. And then Trey Pipkins is going to take over at right tackle. So at least they got a guy like Joe Alt filling in at the most important position, which is left tackle. This could potentially be the start of a Hall of Fame run for Joe Alt right here. You wouldn't go that far that he earned it. Man, won 7 Super Bowls, man. Let him have a statue day, you know. So that's interesting. We'll see. I think that's best case scenario, and they're lucky they got a guy like Joe Alt to be able to move over to there. So good on them. I think this story is interesting, and I didn't even think of this. So I'm gonna clip this one out. So let me do this real quick. So this story is interesting. I didn't even think about this when ESPN announced they're getting the rights to some exclusive NFL content like NFL Network, Red Zone, and all that stuff. And then in exchange, the NFL is getting 10% of ESPN. I didn't think anything of it other than like, please don't first of all, don't get rid of Chris Hansen, and also do not raise the price. Don't do it. Don't raise the price. Don't throw in a bunch of commercials. Keep Red Zone how it is. But the NFL, who we've seen players over the last few years get busted for gambling, which they're not allowed to do on sports, right? We've seen even something like the MLB has the policy you can't bet on MLB games. But we saw, like, what was it, Lions? What was it, Jameson Williams and some players they were in the Lions parking lot placing their bets. I think the NFL, they can bet on baseball, but they can't do it at like any official NFL facility, and they were doing it in the parking lot. Anyways, they get real strict on that kind of stuff. Well, now, since ESPN, or since the NFL owns 10% of ESPN and ESPN owns a sports book, the NFL will directly profit from sports gambling. National Football League will own 10% of ESPN, which is licensed its name to a sports book. And Goodell, back in 2017, was all virtue signaling, saying, we will strongly oppose legalized sports gambling. That's funny because you have DraftKings and FanDuel and stuff as sponsors, but that's funny. The integrity of our game is number one. We will not compromise on that. But then here they are now. First of all, they changed their tune on that. I think we all know that. 8 years have gone by. A lot more states have legalized gambling and all that stuff. Gambling's here to stay. But now, technically, the NFL is directly making money off of sports betting, off their own sport. That's kind of crazy to think about. I wonder how they're going to handle this going forward. It's probably going to just be nothing. They're going to be like, oh, cost of doing business. I wonder if if this is going to get enough attention, though, and people are going to make a stink of it. I don't know. I mean, what can you do? I was shocked that they were even allowed to buy 10% of ESPN. We gotta get a lawyer. We gotta get Robert Barnes on here. But let me know what you guys think about this situation. Is there something I'm missing? Seems very hypocritical to me. I don't know. It seems straightforward. Very hypocritical of the NFL. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Catch you on the next one. There it is. What up, Jefferson? He said, umps are gay fags, probably Democrats. Oh, they're blind for sure. Blind gay fags. Grass guy says, anyway, they can fuck us. That's right. That's right. Oh, I forgot I have an announcement. I want to do something fun. So now that I got you guys here, let's pause this real quick. I want to do something fun. So pay attention. Pay attention. I was thinking of a way to raffle off some things. I've got that magazine and stuff like that. But here's what I want to do. I want to do a fun little contest for you guys. And what I want to do is, for the first one, you're going to get a little bonus. I want to do like I'm going to give away a $50 gift card or $50 cash app, whatever you want. I might get a gift card or I might just cash app someone. So if you want a chance to win $50 plus a copy of Phil Steele's College Football Magazine, I'll throw that in as a bonus for this first go around of it. Here's what I want you guys to do. We're gonna see who can win 5 bets in a row. Let's see who can win 5 bets in a row. Okay. How we're gonna do this is each day, if you comment on the stream of that day, so the morning show, this show right now, if you go over to Rumble, let me pull it up. If you go over to Rumble or YouTube and you click down here and you leave a comment and you say, like, I want, wait, can you guys see this? Did I share the right thing? Oh, I guess I'm not sharing my screen. That would help. You go over to Rumble. Here's the stream of the day. Go down to the comments and then say Mets. Let's say they're money line minus 125. You can do anything up to minus 150. How about that? Anything up to minus 150. Mets money line minus 125. We'll say there. Boom. You put that in the comments. It'll be there. I will keep record of who's winning what. Okay. Whoever can win 5 in a row will win the prize. I think that'll be fun. So just one bet. You could do preseason football. You want to take, you could do anything. You do anything you want as long as it's minus 150 or better. No better odds than minus 150. So let's do that. And then to spice things up a bit, if you join Locals, gameon.locals.com, and you go post on the Locals page, you only have to win 4 in a row. I'm going to give Locals a little advantage. You only have to win 4 in a row because I appreciate the local support. But if you comment on here, whether you're on YouTube, Rumble, or wherever, I'll even do X if you comment on the X stream. I want you guys, first of all, smash the like button. Forgot to post that like I do. But put your favorite pick of the day in here, and if you can get 5 in a row, you'll win the gift, the $50 and the magazine. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it. I think that's fun. It's free for everyone. And anyone who wants to pay $2 and join the locals community, you can join for free, but to be able to comment, you got to be a member or a supporter, which is only $2. You'll get a one pick edge. How about that? I also do encourage you to still post your picks over here because that's more engagement, and I appreciate it. And that's what I need on some of these streams. I need comments and stuff like that, engagement. So that's how we're going to do that. Remind me to say that every single day. So post your picks over there in the comments. Whoever can get 5 in a row. 5. It doesn't have to be 5 straight days either. If you want to take a day off, you can. I will keep a tally. You will win. How about that? Knuckles McGroin. How we doing? Does that seem fair, guys? Does that seem fun? Grass guy says he's in. Can open up the NFL to a lawsuit by NFLPA with ESPN Bet. Yeah, I was wondering about that. That's going to be interesting. Jerry and Robert Kraft hang out with Tucker at the joint. Yeah, they do. It was weird seeing a different Ravens kicker out there. I will admit, the other day. I don't even know his name. I want to do something fun, like talk about Tom Brady's tramp stamp. I'll leave that for you and Grass Guy. All right, back to news. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for news right now. We'll recap some of the games. We can recap some of the games, unless I'm seeing. Ooh, look at this. Someone put out their NFL record projections. In the AFC West, they got the Broncos going 12-5. Look at that. They got the Ravens going 14-3. The Steelers 11-6. Texans 10-7. I think the Jags are going to win the AFC South this year. Bills 13-4. Got my Patriots 8-9. Let's go. I'll take an 8-9 season. Rabel's first year. We'll take it. NFC West has got the Niners and Rams tied at 11-6. Packers 12-5. I don't fully disagree with this one. This doesn't look too off. Huh. We'll see. NFL players can't profit from NFL sports betting, but the NFL can. Conflict of interest. That's what I think. Their argument would be like, well, it makes more money for the players, which it does because more revenue means salary cap goes up more. People need to quit overreacting to Shadir Sanders. I know, dude, but it's gonna happen. Grass guy says this chart is way off. Well, let's see. He's got your Giants going 10-15 or 2-15. That's a little harsh. I don't think the Giants will be 2-15. Can you show Grass Guy the post I shared on Twitter for the WNBA last night? Where was that one? Did I miss that one? Let me see. Did you tag me in it? Oh, this right here. Is this what you're talking about? 7-0, up 19 units. God, you parlay these together? You mad lad. Look at that. Supporting's going to win the contest by just doing WNBA picks. Or one of you is going to win it by asking Grok every day what the best bet is. But yeah, look at this. You killed it. You crushed it. Parlays don't count for the contest, by the way. You can't take like a minus 350 and a minus 350 to get you to where you need to get or whatever. It's just going to be straight plays. 2 units individual, 1 unit on the round robin. I know. You crushing it. I should have tailed these. I don't even know if I can bet WNBA. I should probably look into that. Knuckles says my preseason bowl prediction for the NHL. Stars won't win the Stanley Cup. Ooh, lucky Patriots not here. Some Stars slander start of the day. Grass guy says he will not use AI. Good on you, grass guy. Good on you. Good on you. It's all on Bet Online? Really? Let me check. I swear every time I go to Bet Online, I don't. I will be honest. I don't check for WNBA all that much. But you're probably right. Oh, they do have it. Yeah, they do have WNBA games. Okay. Who are you taking today? Sporting. Who are we taking today? Got the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. Fever at -11. That's a little steep. And you got the Sparks and the Valkyries. Sparks -2. You love your stars, but you're honest about their team. Hey, that's fine. That's good. We'll take it. We'll take it. Look at this little guy over on the kick side. Good morning. Stream Hub World. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm back. 5-year-old came in here, and I was like, oh, God, he's up already. But he was no pants on, and I'm like, oh, I got to make sure you don't walk in on screen here. Had a little, he had a little accident, I guess. So did to deal with that this morning. He's been so good at this potty training stuff. Happens, though. Happens. Okay, back to this, though. Knuckles, I have 1 unit black dildo getting thrown at the WNBA. At a baby. But, Sporting, let me know what the play is today in the WNBA. I'll tail it. But let's recap some baseball. All right, time to do our daily MLB recap and betting preview for today's games. You can catch us live on live show every day, 4:30 a.m. All my handles everywhere where I am live is down below, as you can see. But Reds and the Pirates, this game, I apologize to you guys. Our MLB expert came in here and gave me a 5-unit play yesterday. It was looking good. The Reds were up 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. And then the Pirates said, no. They put up 2 runs there to hang on in the 9th. The Pirates get a 3-2 victory over over the Reds. Astros, Yankees tied 2-2 going to extras, and the Stros just put it on them in the 10th inning, get a 5-3 victory over the Yankees. Is not good for the Yankees. The Yankees need to win this series, which means they got to win the next 2 games this weekend, or else they're going to probably be on the outside looking in. Now, it did help that the Rangers lost yesterday too, but the Yankees are right on the bubble for that last wild card spot. Orioles defeat the A's 3-2. Tigers get a 6-5 victory over them. I want to let you know, too, by the way, our MLB expert told me I got a 5-unit play on the Reds, and then I asked him why, and he broke down this beautiful reasoning of why he likes it. But what my counter to it was, well, it sounds like the under is the play, not the Reds. No, it's the Reds. I just want to let you know who was right. Who was right? The MLB expert or yours truly? Just saying. Tigers get a 6-5 victory over the Angels. Marlin, even with the terrible officiating in that one, Tariq Skubal was still able to hold on and get the Tigers a win there. Marlins get a 5-1 victory over the Braves. The Braves are terrible. Guardians 9-5 victory over the White Sox. Phillies just spanked the Rangers, 9-1 victory there. I bought in on the Rangers when they were down 4-1. That was dumb. Twinkies 9-4 victory over the Royals. Brewers get a 3-2 victory over the Mets. There was a Frank rant I saw. Let's see. Frank the Tank was not happy last night. He was not happy last night. Let's check in on Frank.
It's the same fucking thing. Every day it's the same fucking thing. No heart, no grit, no fight, nothing. Dumb plays, dumb coaching.
There you go. That sums up the Mets. That sums up the Mets for you. Frank is not happy with his Mets. 3-2 victory there for the Brew Crew. What up, Boku? How we doing? Morning party people. Browns dominated last night. Can't win them all if you don't win the first. Shadur, offensive rookie of the year. Get a little ahead of yourself there, Boku. But it was a good win there. I can't believe the Panthers are a 6-point favorite. What are they? It's the Panthers, dude. Jamie says, dropped a pick in the comments to kick things off. Let's go. That's right, Buku. For everyone that just is tuning in, I'm doing a $50 giveaway and a copy of Phil Still's magazine. You got to win 5 picks in a row each day. Drop a comment wherever you're watching. Wherever you're watching in the comment section, drop your favorite pick of the day. And if you can hit 5 in a row before anyone else, you will be the winner. You will be the winner. Speaking of winner, Cardinals defeat the Cubbies 5-0. Red Sox get a 10-2 victory over the Padres. Diamondbacks get a 6-1 victory over the Rockies. Mariners 3-2 victory over the Rays. Dodgers starting to find themselves now. They get a 5-1 victory over the Red Hot Blue Jays. Starting to find themselves. I think they're finally getting healthy. They're looking good out there. Kershaw with another win there. And then the Giants last night, 5-0 victory over the Nationals. How about that? Let's see what we got on the schedule today. Ooh, we do get a little bit of early baseball because it is Saturday. Marlins, Braves, a coin flip game here. I don't know who you can trust in this one. Both of these teams stink. But Sharp Money Action Network expert likes the Braves at -110. 54% of the money is on Atlanta in this one. Astros and the Yankees. Stros -120. Yankees +105. Home dog. Sharp Money. Big money. And an Action Network expert. All 3 lines or signals lined up on the Yankees with 43% of the bets and 67% of the money back in New York. Nationals and the Giants. Giants -160 home favorites. Nationals +140 on the comeback. Sharp money on the Giants with 85% of the money so far coming in on San Francisco. Angels and the Tigers. Tigers -130. Angels +120 on the comeback. Sharp money Action Network expert like the Angels today, but 79% of the money say take Detroit. Reds and the Pirates. Reds -125 road favorites. Pirates +105 home dogs. Big money on the Reds with 59% of the bets, but 76% of the money back in Cincinnati. A's, Orioles. Orioles -115. A's +105. Sharp money on the Orioles. 52% of the overall money back in Baltimore. Mets and Brewers. Brewers -120. Even money dogs for the Mets. Sharp money. Big money. And an Action Network expert. All 3 signals lining up on the Mets. We'll have to check in on this tomorrow, when all 3 signals line up, how it works out for today. But 34% of the bets, 57% of the money is on New York in that one. Royals and the Twins. It's funny that's both New York teams too, isn't it? Yeah, that's funny. Maybe a little bias there. I don't know. Royals at the Twins. Royals minus 120 road favorites. Twins plus 105 home dog. Sharp money, big money action. We're expert lined up on the Royals. 89% of the money is on Kansas City. Guardians and the White Sox. Guardians minus 140 road favorites. White Sox plus 120 home dogs. 88% of the money is back in Cleveland. Cubbies and the Cardinals. Cardinals minus 115. Cubbies even money. Road dogs. Big money on the Cubs. 71% of the bets. 83% of the money is taking Chicago to get the bounce back win here. Marlins and the Braves game 2. Another coin flip game. Sharp money on the Fish in game 2. And 58% of the overall money is on Miami. Phillies and the Rangers. Rangers minus 130. Phillies plus 115. Sharp money on the Phillies. 74% of the money back in Philadelphia. Rangers need a win to try to overtake the Yankees for that last wild card spot. Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks minus 225 home favorites. Rockies plus 200 road dogs. Sharp money on the Diamondbacks. 92% of the money is on Arizona. Red Sox and the Padres. Padres minus 150. Red Sox plus 125 on the comeback. Big money action. Our expert likes the Red Sox today. 57% of the bets. 72% of the money is on Boston. Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Dodgers minus 165 home favorites. Blue Jays plus 140 on the comeback. Big money back in the Jays today. 42% of the bets. 69% of the money. Ayo is on Toronto. And your night game, your nightcap. Rays, Mariners minus 125 home favorites. Rays plus 110 on the comeback. Sharp money on the Rays. But 60% of the overall money is on the Mariners in that one. And there you have it. There's your little MLB recap and preview. Let's take a look at the standings real quick, where we're at with the wild card spot. Look at this. Yankees are only a half a game ahead of Cleveland and a game and a half ahead of the Rangers. Yankees, they need to get something going. Mariners and Red Sox are looking pretty safe in that one. And then in your National League, you got the Cubs, Padres, Mets are the 3 wild card teams. Cincinnati, though, 3.5 games back of New York. Maybe they can make something happen. There you have it. That's a little recap and preview of today's MLB games. Boom. Sporty says, Buku, is Cricket getting his AC fixed soon? Sounds like a bad motor from what he said last night. Oh, that sucks, dude. I hate it. There's nothing worse when the AC's out, especially where Crick lives. That's a bummer. Plus, they got all the kids there, a lot of bodies in the house. Oh, miserable. Hope he gets that fixed. All right, it's time to recap. There we go. Forgot what I was saying. Recap NFL week season NFL preseason week 1. I can't talk this morning. Friday's games, and then preview the games we have today. A lot of games today in the NFL. But yesterday, Tom, you knew the Patriots were going to win. It was Tom Brady statue day. They ain't losing with Tom Brady in the building. 48-18 over the Commandos. One thing I've noticed too in a lot of these games, the overs have been hitting in the preseason. A lot of people say bet the unders. I think we need to just start betting the overs, at least early on. Now, it did not go over in the Lions-Falcons games. That was a 17-10 victory for the Falcons, but you would have been refunded your bet because the game did not finish. It ended late in the third quarter due to unfortunate injury to one of the Detroit players who, good news is he's got movement and whatnot. So glad to hear that. But that game you would have got refunded. But then you got the Browns and the Panthers. Browns get a 30-10 victory over the Panthers. Everyone's loving Shadur because he went 14 of 23, 138 yards and 2 TDs, 2 tutties. But this game goes over as well. I think we got to start looking at the overs, man. But there's your it was a first quarter scoring frenzy. Yeah, first quarter there's been a lot of scoring too. But yeah, there you have it. That's a little recap of yesterday. Let's take a look at today's games and the odds because we are degenerates here. We will be betting on preseason football. Already have been doing pretty good betting preseason so far. But today, early start, we get your Giants today, Grass Guy, taking on the Bills. Bills are 3-point favorites over the Giants. Sharp money on the Bills. What is there a crazy stat that Brian Daboll is like 1-11 in preseason games against the spread? Maybe we look at the Bills today. I don't know. I'll probably stay away. But sharp money on the Bills, 3-point favorite, 69% of the overall money. Ayo is on Buffalo. Texans, Vikings -3. Texans, big money on them there at +3, catching the 3. 47% of the bets, 56% of the money is on Houston. Steelers, Jaguars. Jags -4-point favorites against the Steelers. Sharp money, big money on the Jags, but the money is split 50-50. I think I'd look at the Steelers in that one. Catching the 4 points, why not? Cowboys, Rams. Cowboys -1.5-point favorites. Jimmy G, I believe, is actually, I think they're not even going to play Jimmy G because Stafford's been hurt. I think Jimmy G's even sitting out. They were getting Stenson Bennett starting for the Rams. Sharp money on the Rams, but 57% of the overall money is on Dallas. Joe Milton going to be out there hucking and chucking it. Titans and Bucks. Titans 3-point favorites against the Buccaneers. Sharp money on the Bucks. Big money on the Titans, though, with 19% of the bets, 44% of the money on Tennessee. Chiefs, Cardinals. Cardinals 2.5-point home dogs. Sharp money and big money on the Chiefs. 96% of the overall money is on Kansas City. I think I'd look at the Cardinals on that one, but I'll stay away. Jets and the Packers. Packers 3-point favorites home against the Jets. Sharp money on the Jets, but 66% of the overall money is on Green Bay. Broncos, 49ers. Broncos laying 6.5. I wonder if they're playing starters and the Niners aren't, at least for a little bit, because 6.5-point favorites, that's a lot. I just blindly want to fade that. Sharp money and big money on the Broncos. 40% of the bet, 75% of the money is on Denver. Dolphins, Bears. Bears -3. -3 home favorites here. Big money on the Bears. 84% of the overall money is on Chicago in that one. And then tomorrow we'll have Saints and Chargers. We can talk about that tomorrow on tomorrow's show. But there you go. There's your daily NFL preseason week 1 betting report. Take the over. In the Giants game? That's not a bad call. That's not a bad call. Thank you, Miss Leslie, for reposting it. Same with you, Jamie, reposting the stream. I really appreciate that. We're going to talk about, we're finally going to get to it. This is interesting too. Speaking of the Packers, there's some interesting Jordan Love stats in here. Let me go check on little man real quick, make sure everything's good, and then we'll get into the Packers, okay? Jamie says, yeah, I'd be inclined to take the 69ers at +6.5, but it's preseason. Who knows? They're actually going to start. I just like taking them early on Kalshi, because if the Niners, if they score first or if it's tied at half, I mean, you're going to have to be profitable. You can cash out at halftime. You know what I mean? And we've seen in some of these preseason games, special teams, punt return, kick return, easy points. Next thing you know, a team's up 14-0. Buku says, "Will you come to Chat Town next weekend?" I wanted to, man, but I hadn't heard back. And I know Crick said the thing the other day. I saw that. I hadn't really heard about the ticket, but also I was in Vegas last month. And then at the beginning of October, I'm flying down to Florida to go to that Texas-Florida game. So timing wise, there was just a lot going on. So it didn't really work out. But I'm going to catch the next one. I think they're doing it annually there, but I'm definitely going to catch next year's. It's just got a lot going on and travel plans already, and I hate being away from the family. So not going to be there next weekend, but I hope everyone has fun. It's going to be a hell of a party. Wish I was there. Okay. All right, we're going to get into the Green Bay Packers 2025 preview, courtesy of Warren Sharp's breakdown. That's where all these nice little stats and charts and stuff. Go check out Warren Sharp's book. Go get you a copy of the PDF or the actual book, a big old thick book. Got great information in there. If you're a football junkie, this is the book for you. If you especially if you're betting on football this year, you're going to need this book. And it's not a sponsor of the show. I don't get paid for saying that. I just bring you guys good resources, and this is a great resource that I think you guys would benefit from. I certainly am going to be using this all season long. I can't get enough of this book. Sitting there in jury duty, I'm reading it, and people are like, "Oh, you studying fantasy football?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, something like that." But yeah, we got the Green Bay Packers. One of the things going through this chapter, which we will go through, is just there's some crazy Jordan Love stats that makes you think he's the real deal if he stays healthy. It makes you think he's the real deal. Definitely not what I thought of him. Not that I thought he was anything like a terrible quarterback or anything, but we're talking like elite status. And I was kind of shocked by it. So we're going to get into that, see what the Packers need to do. Packers need to get they need they need their wide receivers to be just even a little bit more competent last year. You're going to be surprised when you see the numbers on how many drop passes and mistakes the Green Bay Packers wide receivers made last year. So we're going to get into all that. Boku says, understood, just checking in. Yeah, I know, buddy. I wish I could make it down there. Sucks you're going to miss it. Going to miss what? This game? What are you going to miss? What are you going to miss, grass guy? Not the show because you're here right now. But I can't believe we're heading into year 7 already, Matt LaFleur. Year 2 for Jeff Haley, or Jeff Hapley for the defensive coordinator, and year 4 for Adam Stinovich. Season win total for the Packers is set at 9.5 this year. They won 11 games last year, 11-6 record, playing it, which is impressive, playing in that gauntlet of a division. You know, you had Detroit and the Vikings with both 14. I think Detroit had 15. Either way, they both have at least 14 wins. Definitely next time. That's right. Next time for sure. Okay. One thing that we like to look at is net rest advantage and disadvantage on the season, which is huge for a lot of these teams. The Packers, 1, 2, 3, they play 4 games with rest disadvantage, and 1, 2, 3, 4 games with net rest advantage. So net, they're a 0. They're a 0 on the rest advantage and disadvantage. Tough way to start off the season, but I guess if you want to get Detroit at any point, I would have won them probably week 1 before they kind of mesh together, and especially since they're kind of dealing with some injury bugs and whatnot. But they open up against Detroit and Washington. At least they both get those home in Lambeau. Then they're on the road against Cleveland and Dallas before an early week 5 bye. Then Patriot, what up, Patriot? Thank you for reposting that. Then coming off their bye, they take on Cincinnati. That's going to be a fun game in Lambeau. At least all these games, a lot of these tough games, they get home. Look at that. They get Detroit home, Washington home, the Bengals home. They get the Eagles home. Well, obviously, they get Detroit and the Vikings home at least once. And then the Ravens. They get the Ravens home. So they have a tough schedule. Look at that. Out of division, you got Washington, Bengals, Eagles, and Ravens all at home. So that's looking good for them. Key players they lost to Daryl Slayton, lost him, Eric Stokes, Eric Wilson, Josh Myers, AJ Dillon, guy still in the lead. Oh, they lost Andre Dillard too. Shout out Hiaku. He was there. He was on my dorm floor. Andre Dillard. Lost him. But free agents they picked up a left guard, Aaron Blanks, paying that man $19.3 million a year. Nate Hobbs, cornerback, paying him $12 million a year. And they got McCole Hardman, Isaiah Simmons and Christian Welch. Drafted, they took, which I thought was a really good draft pick for them in the first round, number 23 overall. They took Texas's wide receiver Matthew Golden. That guy has got speed, a lot of athleticism. People are nervous about how he's going to do up in Green Bay because he says, I don't think he's ever been that far north and been in the cold like that. So, but this guy's a professional, right? He's a professional. He's going to learn how to play in the cold. But Matthew Golden gives them, a wide receiver that will not make the mistakes that the receivers made last year, as we're going to get into, but also some speed and great athleticism out there. So we will see. And then second round, they took an offensive tackle, Anthony Belton out of NC State. Took another wide receiver. As you can see, wide receiver is a need for this team. So in the third round, they took another wide receiver, Savion Williams out of TCU. They like those Texas boys, huh? And defensive end Baron Sorrell out of Texas as well. They like Texas players in general. Look at that. And then a few more late round picks. But here, let's get into this. It doesn't seem like Jordan Love is entering his 6th NFL season, but he just completed his 2nd season as Green Bay starter. He showed tremendous growth in his 2nd season as a starter last year, helping to lead the Packers to 11-6 record despite battling injuries throughout the season. Yes. And a 5-point loss to eventual Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, in week 1. With just 15 seconds remaining, Love hit simultaneously by 2 defenders, causing his knee to twist unilaterally. I remember that. They just paid him all that money, and then they thought he tore his ACL, but MRI confirmed ACL was intact. They initially estimated he'd be out 3 to 6 weeks, but Love returned to practice on a limited basis just 12 days later. And he only missed 2 games, and that was week 2 against the Colts and week 3 against the Titans. Good games to miss if you had to miss any. His absence was noticed in those 2 games. First, his toughness and competitive nature to return way before the estimated timeline speaks positively about his grit and commitment. Second, the staff's ability to turn on a dime. That is a testament to Matt LaFleur and his team. Your starting quarterback goes down week 1, and you got to be able to shift on a dime, right? And next man up. And they handled that very, very well. So after the preseason, they traded for backup quarterback Malik Willis. When Love went down, they got Willis ready for week 2. In week 1 against the Eagles, they led for 29 minutes and trailed for just 11 in the first 3 quarters. Despite leading for most of those first three quarters, they had a 61% pass rate on early downs. In week 2, they dropped from 61 pass rate to 11% pass rate because they had Willis there. You don't want to be passing 61% of the time with Malik Willis as your quarterback. And in the first half with Malik Willis, they only had a 7% pass rate. Oh, man. To give you an example of what Matt LaFleur pivoted to, Josh Jacobs had already cleared 109 yards on 14 rushes with 8 minutes and 34 seconds left in the second quarter. They were just run heavy. Run heavy in that game. The schedule gave them the ability to do almost nothing but creatively run the ball because the opposing offense wasn't putting up points on the board. Back to Love. He returned early from his knee injury and played week 4 against the Vikings. It was clear there was rust to shake off for Love because he didn't start well. The Packers trailed 28-0 in the first half. I mean, the Vikings just put on a clinic last year too. If there was blood in the water, the Vikings took advantage of it and exploited it. The Vikings' first 5 drives, touchdown, punch, touchdown. Packers' first 5 drives, missed field goal, interception, turnover on downs. Packers were lucky to recover a muffed punt with 39 seconds before halftime so they could trail 28-7. Okay, we don't need to go through every single game like that, though. This was interesting, too, to look at, which I haven't been paying attention to, but I am going to more so. Last year, they were 11-6, but the Packers were 8-8 against the spread here. So just something to take note of. Straight up record 11-6, but 8-8 against the spread. We got their ATS broken down as a home favorite. They were 4-3. Just little nuggets like that maybe. It doesn't mean anything for this year, but just kind of keep an eye on. Just another data point for us to use going forward. Packers win total is 9.5 this season, and they're favored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they're favored in 13 games. A lot of these are minus 1.5 point favorites. So, but they're favored in 13 games, yet their season win total is set at 9.5. What is Vegas trying to tell you about this team? Majority of my play calls would be run if I had Josh Jacobs. Dude's a monster. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Nevada Maverick, do you bet preseason? Yes. Yes, I have been. Broke even yesterday. Day before, it was a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Despite a furious comeback, the Packers lost that game. Okay, we don't need it. And then they had to fly out to LA, take on the Rams. Love didn't look like himself early in the game. The Packers went 1-8 on third down, but they left with a win. By week 5 against the Cardinals, Love started to look like his knee was feeling better, which makes sense considering that was 4 weeks after his initial injury. After reeling off 3 straight wins, Love injured his groin in week 8 and led the Packers to a win over the Jags. Love exited the game in the third quarter and did not return. He didn't practice on Wednesday, but got in limited work in the week and was listed as questionable for week 9 against the Lions. Love played through the groin injuries, but the Packers lost to Detroit, and their record now was 6-3 on the season. This is where it starts to get interesting about Love. So pre-bye, Love was dealing with multiple injuries that both caused him to miss games, but also play injured while dealing with a separate MCL and groin injuries. Post-bye, he practiced in full each week, wasn't injured, and never missed a game. So pre-bye, he was minus 0.01 EPA per attempt, 44% success rate, 7.8 yards per attempt, and 61 completion. Post-bye, when he was healthier and didn't miss any time, plus 0.2 EPA per attempt, 49% success rate, 8.5 yards per attempt, and 65% completion rate. From those rankings prospectively, he went pre-bye number 21, 17, 12, 32 in the league to post-bye number 5, 9, 2, and 17. So playing when he's healthy, playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Keep in mind, post-bye, Love faced the NFL's number 5 toughest schedule of pass defenses last year. That's a key point, too. He wasn't doing against easy competition. If anything, his first half pre-bye was very easy with some of those teams that he played. And then this is also his second season as an NFL starter. Love also showed tremendous growth from 23 to 24, specifically on early downs. He was superior to his 23 season in every key metric, including EPA, success rate, yards per attempt, and completion rate. This is what we should expect to see, but it's worth stating it for the record. While Love ranked top 5 in multiple key passing statistics last season when healthy, there's a lot of context that needs to be considered. It relates to errors from extremely young receiving core. This is where we get into blame the receivers, although I think it's warranted. But before we get into you're going to be shocked about how bad these receivers actually were. James has got to go for lunch. Catch you later. Have a good lunch later, Jamie. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next show. Okay. Season win total for the Packers, 9.5. Here's why the argument why you should bet under 9.5 wins for the Packers in the 2025 season. While they were able to effectively convert on third down throughout the season, the Packers converted just 50% of their fourth down attempts, tied with the 49ers for the 23rd in this metric last season. They need to find more effective options on fourth down. The Packers survived 24 with the league's best injury luck when it came to their offensive line, with a full cast of starters playing together on 80% of snaps last season. Metrics like this are beyond anyone's control and are expected to decline after such a fortunate year. Dropped passes by receivers were a concern for Green Bay in 24, with 29 accurate passes falling incomplete, the 6th most in the league. They did add Matthew Golden in the first round, and Christian Watson expect to miss a chunk of the season as he recovers from his ACL injury last year. Green Bay needs more consistency from its receiving core. That's going to be key. Can their receiving core get it done for them? If you believe no, you should bet the under. Here's why you should bet the over 9.5 wins for the Green Bay Packers in the 25 season. Green Bay made the most of their front seven despite a relatively low blitz rate, just 17.3% of defensive plays, which ranked 29th in the league. stacking opposing quarterbacks 45 times, which is the 8th most, and earning the 2nd highest defensive EPA per dropback. The coaching staff showed good malleability last season, quickly changing the offense following Jordan Love's Week 1 injury to keep the team on track with Malik Willis at quarterback. It was a great sign that suggests the coaching staff will be able to handle whatever comes in 25. Defense took a step forward in the first year under DC Jeff Hafley, finishing 5th in yards per play allowed and 6th in points per drive allowed. Xavier McKinney was a slam dunk addition to the secondary, and Green Bay went out and signed Nate Hobbs to help solidify the corner group this offseason. So, bottom line is, if you think the Packers can get better wide receiver play and their defense can stay even consistent to what they were last year, Packers should be a bet on team for you. What else we got? Well, now we get into the wide receivers here. The Packers receivers ranked number 1 in receiver error last season. I didn't even know this was a stat. What is receiver error? Yes, it includes drops, but also includes plays when the receiver lost control at the ground, near catches where they should have gotten both feet inbounds but did not, and when he fell or stopped running his route. Overall, 8% of the Packers' 24 pass attempts were not caught due to receiver error. 8%. That's crazy. The largest percentage of any team in the NFL. For another way to look at this is Jordan Love would have completed 22% more of his passes. Another way to look at it is 22% of his incompletions were due to receiver error. That's crazy. Imagine the Love stats if they didn't make all those errors or just cut the errors in half. That's the difference between winning and losing games. That was the highest rate in the NFL. The NFL average is 15%. But Love saw nearly 25% of his incompletions come as a result of receiver error. Packers had the top 2 worst receivers in errors this past year. The NFL average was 5.3% of incompletions due to receiver error. Think about that. The average is 5.3, and the Packers are at 8%. Jaden Reed ranked number 103 of 103 of qualifying players. Datavian Wicks was 102 of 103. That is bad. Reed's 14.7% of targets being incomplete due to receiver error was nearly 3 times the NFL average, and Wicks was at 13.2. Things were at their worst for Love on 3rd and 4th down. On those downs, 33% of Love's incompletions were due to receiver error. Think about it. They would have completed their 3rd or 4th down a third of the time or a third more of the time if their receivers weren't so incompetent. Do they still have Romeo Doubs? I'm not sure. Let me see. Depth chart, roster, depth chart. There we go. Yes, they still have Romeo Doubs. The NFL average just 14%. There was just one other QB higher than 21%, and that was Daniel Jones with the Giants receivers, causing 26% of his incompletion. See, it wasn't Daniel Jones, grass guy. It was his receivers. That's why Daniel Jones got fired. It wasn't him. It was his receivers' fault. Love was a full 7 percentage points worse at 33. Think about that. Daniel Jones and the Giants were at 26, and Packers, who had 11 wins, were at 33 on that. That's crazy. It was the worst rate for a QB since 2001. What was the impact of these errors? On 3rd and 4th down, Love lost 28.2 EPA due to the receiver errors. That is the most EPA loss for any QB since 2020. That's crazy. But those numbers dropped massively on 3rd down, largely as a result of receiver error. On 3rd and 4th down, Love ranked number 29 in yards per. Okay, we don't need all these. If not for receiver error, it would have been so. His completion rate was 52.6%, number 35 in the NFL. If not for receiver error, it would have been 68%, which would have been ranked number 2 in the NFL. Think about that. This isn't him throwing like terrible passes out there. This is his receivers making mistakes, not catching the ball, not getting 2 feet in, not running the right route. Which led me to wonder how Love did on just early downs last year, since 3rd downs were so problematic. On early downs, he was number 5 in EPA per attempt, number 8 in success rate, number 4 in yards per attempt. He ranked in the top 5 on on valuable early downs by multiple metrics. Despite the injuries, despite his receivers leading the NFL in receiver error, despite playing the NFL's the number 6 toughest schedule of passive defenses. Think about that. Even though you got the receivers errors, he's dealing with injuries, he's playing against really good defenses, he's still ranked high, top 5 in the league, which is impressive. Love made 18 career starts before last season, and 24 he made 15 starts, which were career starts number 19 through 33. Went back and filtered out all quarterbacks since 2000 during their career starts of 19 to 33 to compare Love's second full season as a starter. Here's where Love ranks amongst 86 qualifying QBs since 2000. He's number 12 in yards per attempt, number 27 in success rate, number 34 in EPA per dropback. But on early downs, he ranks number 7 in yards per attempt, number 8 in EPA per dropback, and number 11 in success rate. In early downs, his 8.6 mark last season was only behind Kurt Warner, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, and Matt Schwab. Matt Schwab getting some love. Look at that. He ranked ahead of Romo, Rivers, Palmer, Mahomes, Stafford, and well ahead of Rodgers. Where Rodgers caught up was on third down in the second season of starting. Overall, across all downs, he had better statistics in his career starts, 19 through 33, than Love. This year, Love and the Packers get a slight reprieve in schedule, as I expect them to drop from the number 6 toughest pass defenses face to number 16th toughest. Packers made moves to strengthen their offense via signing left guard Aaron Banks and tackle Anthony Belton in the second round. Also drafted 2 wide receivers, Matthew Golden, first round, Davion Williams in the third round. Green Bay needs to make a move because they will be starting the season without Christian Watson. During the Packers' final regular season against the Bears, Watson suffered a non-contact injury in his right knee. Oh, okay, it was the right, which I thought it was his ACL, wasn't it? Pretty sure. If you want to see their information about their draft class, it's all right there. More stats and charts. These beautiful charts. I love it. Like I said, if you're an NFL junkie, this is for you. This book is for you if you're an NFL junkie. Fantasy advice. I don't really care about that fantasy stuff. The defensive outlook. Green Bay's defensive front was strong in 24, allowing 4.1 yards per carry to running backs, which was 7th in the league, and 0.95 yards before contact, which is 4th in the league. TJ Slayton left in free agency, which is a concern as they look to repeat those run defense numbers, but the rest of 24 rotation is back. Kenny Clark is a standout of this group, finishing last season with 10 run stuffs, but surprisingly struggling to get after the quarterback. Toe injury he picked up in week 1 could have played a role in those struggles. Devontae Wyatt picked up the slack there, getting 5 sacks with a 13.5% pressure rate on limited snaps. Packers finished, this was impressive right here. The Packers finished 8th with 45 sacks and 13th in pressure rate. While those overall numbers are good, no one stood out as a pass rusher, and it was not the most consistent unit in the league. What else we got? Green Bay had, let's see. They were 3rd in the league in interceptions with 17. They had that success despite Jair Alexander playing in just 7 games for the second season in a row, and he was no longer on the team. Perhaps with that in mind, the Packers signed Nate Hobbs to a 4-year, $48 million contract in free agency. We'll see if they can make that work. See if they can. Look at all these. Red zone efficiency. Their stats on first down. They ranked they ranked number 4 in first quarter points. These are things that we need to know. Betting. Point margins. They're not a good second quarter team. Last year, they were minus 23 point margin in the second quarter. Something to think about. Especially if they win the first quarter, then we can look and be like, okay, we'll take the other team to win the second quarter. Red zone targets for wide receivers. Tucker Kraft was targeted the most, 15 times, followed by Tavion Wicks at 14. And Reed with 11, Romeo Dobbs with 11. It's funny that he went to Tavian Wicks so much, who had all those drop balls and whatnot in the red zone. Kept going to him, though. Kept giving him a chance. Packers have the 23rd easiest schedule. Another way to say it is the Packers have the 10th toughest schedule in the league this year. Let's see. Matt LaFleur provided an encouraging update on Watson's recovery, stating that the wide receiver is doing outstanding and appears to be ahead of schedule. But there is no specific return date. On the ground, Josh Jacobs made a big difference for the Packers, improving modestly in overall rushing efficiency, but massively in explosive rushing efficiency. He went from number 22 to number 3rd in the league. Wow. The Packers did improve defensively under DC Jeff Hafley, who returns in 25. Improved their defensive efficiency from number 26 in the league to number 16, but their red zone efficiency from number 29 to number 8. How about that? And this was all despite facing a much tougher schedule of offenses from 23 to 24. Let's see. One of the biggest factors for the Packers making an improvement 25 and taking the next step in the form of going on a playoff run must be to turn close games into wins. Last year, they were 5-5 in games decided by one score. 23, they were 6-5. We're talking 10 games in a year, the majority of their schedule resulting in coin flip games. And plus, we saw all those games when we were looking at the look-ahead lines. I mean, a lot of those games that they're favored in, they're only a 1.5-point favorite, which suggests it's going to be a close game. One of the ways they can do this is to improve fourth down decision-making. They ranked number 27 in go-for-it rate last year, going for it just 15% of the time on fourth down. Worse, they ranked 29 when examining how often a team should go for it. This was kind of crazy. In the last 3 years, they've had 31 attempts on 4th and 1. Of those 31 plays of 4th and 1, they converted first downs only 55% of the time. And this is where we're going to get into something funny here. And yet their own QB sneaks, if they do a QB sneak, they convert 80% of the time. So get this. The Packers can't get a 4th and 1. They're one of the worst teams in the league at converting 4th and 1, even though they have an 80% success rate on a QB sneak. Yet on 4th and 1, they hardly ever do a QB sneak. It's also funny because the Packers were the one that wanted to ban the tush push. They don't need to ban the tush push. They need to sneak the ball with their quarterback. That's what we're going to get into. They use a sneak on just 16% of their 4th and 1 plays, well below the NFL average of 24%. Instead of sneaks, they predominantly call passes on 4th down and running back runs. Let's see. So let's examine their calls. 14 called pass plays, 50% conversion rate. 8 running back runs, 37.5 conversion rate. 5 QB sneaks where they convert 80% of the time. Yeah, so they just need to do more QB sneaks instead of trying to pass the ball on 4th and 1. Get too cute out there. The Packers lobby to ban the tush push. They don't need to ban the tush push. Do you know how often the tush push converted on first down for the Eagles last year? 81% of the time. So the Packers on QB sneaks on 4th and 1 were converting almost the same amount as the Eagles were. The Eagles just do it more often. They simply need to stop making boneheaded play calls on 4th and 1, sneak the ball more often, and get aggressive. That's a head coaching decision, though. Last year, the Packers ranked number 2 in pre-snap motion usage on run plays. In 23, they ranked number 3 in pre-snap motion usage on run plays. Last year, they used motion ahead of 410 run plays, which was number 1 in the NFL. Did not use motion on 116 run plays, which was bad. So with motion, their runs were minus 0.06 EPA per rush, 39% success rate, and 4.8 yards per carry. If they don't use motion, it's plus 0.24 EPA per rush, number 1 in the league, 54% success rate, number 1 in the league, 4.5 yards per carry, number 13 in the league. Basically, they're getting too cute out there with all that motion. B. McGork says, I see Josh Jacobs' first TD winner or scorer in our future maybe a couple times. Yeah, maybe. They need to quit using motion, though. See, this is what the little nuggets you get out of this book. I would never thought about, like, oh, let's see how they do when they run motion or when they use motion and run plays and when they don't. That's why this book is amazing. Bottom line, the Packers need more consistent version of Love if they want to go to the next level. If that comes to fruition, they will pivot from a talented but erratic fringe playoff team to a legit Super Bowl contender. Oh, gosh. Whether you isolate running back plays, or Jacobs runs, the story doesn't change. They're massively better when they aren't using pre-snap motion. In fact, no team sees their success rate drop more when using pre-snap motion than the Packers. Yet they use it number 2 most often, despite the number 1 largest decline in efficiency. That, I guess that is a good thing too. If you start seeing the Packers using a lot of motion in a game, maybe that's how we take advantage of live betting, betting against them live. I don't know. 3 quick hacks I can share with the Packers staff to boost their odds of winning games in 25. Go for it more often, QB sneak instead of getting cute on 4th and 1, and reduce motion before handoffs. Now let's dive into the Packers schedule a bit. Short week road games are the worst type of games to have to play. Less time for coaches to prep, less time for players to heal and get healthy, and less time to install game plans. Teams hate playing these games, and it's for good reason. Over the last decade, teams in short week road games have won just 44% of these games and covered the spread 49% of the time. The mark is even worse if you exclude the 2020 season when road teams excelled without home field crowds. Excluding the 2020 season, since 2014, teams on the road with short rest compared to their opponent won 42.9% of games and covered just 48.3% of the time. Meanwhile, looking at road teams playing with extra rest, they've won 47.9% of the games and covered a whopping 54.7% of the times. That swing over hundreds of games in each sample is massive. This year, the Packers bear the brunt of the scheduling disadvantages. Green Bay is the only team to play 3 short week road games this year. So even though they're net, we looked at the beginning of this, the net, they have 4 games of rest disadvantage and 4 games of rest advantage. 3 of the disadvantage games are on the road. So they have short weeks 3 times this season. That's something to think of. Week 11, week 14, and week 16. No other team plays more than 2 short week road games. Good news for the Packers is they've outperformed the NFL average marks when playing short week road games. Since 2019, the Packers are 6-1 and 5-2 against the spread in these spots. Although last year their only such game was Minnesota week 17, and they lost outright against the spread. Only the Chiefs, who are 7-0, have a better outright performance than the Packers since 2019. So while being forced to be the only NFL team to play 3 such games in 25, at least the coaching staff has historically been able to pull these guys together to generally outperform expectations in these situations. Jordan Love has shown that he can play as a top 10 quarterback when healthy and supported. With off-season upgrades to the offensive line, new additions to the wide receiver room, and slightly easier schedule ahead, this team is better positioned than ever to take the next step. But unlocking their full potential requires more than talent and health. It will demand sharper fourth-down decision-making, smart short yardage play calling, and willingness to abandon ineffective tendencies like the overuse of motion in the run game that held them back. These are fixable issues, and if the Packers can clean them up, they have the quarterback, the defense, and the infrastructure to make a real playoff push. The floor is risen, the ceiling remains tantalizing. In 25, it's time for Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love to prove they can reach it. That's the thing, though. I always get nervous about these coaches. Like, he does a great job. It's easier said than done, mapping all this stuff out. And maybe Matt LaFleur will learn from this, but I mean, the guy's going to his 7th year at Green Bay. I kind of think these coaches are kind of stuck in their ways. Maybe he can prove me wrong. Maybe. But I feel like more times than not, these coaches are stuck in their ways, and we're going to get Mott's. More of the same. More of the same from the Packers. But there you have it. That's the Packers 2025 season. I think the Packers, I mean, it's a tough schedule. Health, you never know about. But I think if I had to bet, I would take maybe a little future bet on Green Bay to make a run this year, either to win their division or to win the NFC. They've got the talent. Love is, by those numbers, is statistically a good enough quarterback to get it done. They just need improvement at wide receiver, which they addressed. They brought in some new guys, albeit they'll be young guys, so you never know. Their schedule is not favorable for them at all, but at least they do get their toughest games at home. They do have to play at rest disadvantages on the road 3 times on short weeks, 3 times this year, as we went over. No other team has to do that, but this team historically has proven that they can handle that. They're better than your average team when playing on short rest on the road. And that's due to coaching. And, Matt LaFleur is still there. So I expect that to stay the same. It'll be how they handle those games, but also how they can handle, they got big games at home. Obviously the Lions, Commanders, Bengals, Eagles, Vikings, and Ravens. Those are tough games, but at least it's in Lambeau, and Lambeau is still one of those stadiums that has home field advantage. So they can do that. I doubt we see a change in the pre-snap motion for run plays. Warren Sharp makes a compelling point in here that they are the worst team, one of the worst team when they run with motion and without the drop off. Without, they're one of the best running teams. With motion, they're one of the worst. But I think we're going to get more of the same. I don't think that's something that will change. I think they're just banking on their wide receivers, not making so many egregious mistakes like last year. So we'll see. But that is your Green Bay Packers 2025 NFL preview. Oh, yeah. VMAX says, my Warren Sharp book got here yesterday, Will. I'm going to try to dig in some shit or some this weekend. Do it, dude. Do it. Let me know if you find any nuggets and whatnot in there, because I'm just learning more and more stuff every single time I open this book. And isn't it crazy how thick this thing is, dude? Look at that. It's a massive book. You definitely get your money's worth. It ain't cheap, but you definitely get your money's worth. Especially if you're going to be using it for betting purposes. Make that back easy. This book will save you on some bets to cover the cost of that book over the course of the season. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. There you have it, guys. Good show today. Good show. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, remember, if you want to get in on the contest, chance to win $50 and the magazine, go over to wherever you're watching this in the comment section. Drop your play for the day. I see Jamie already dropped Braves money line game 1 against the Marlins. Jamie's going with the Braves. How about that? So go make sure you drop your favorite pick. You got to win 5 in a row. 5 in a row. One a day. You get 1 a day. If you're a Locals member, you can go drop it in Locals, and you only have to hit 4 in a row. How about that? But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I might be live this afternoon. We'll cover another team if I am able to go live at nap time. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 4:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, good luck, good gambling, and game on.